The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How did I come about this book? Some years back, I was a banker. Some years back, one of the banks I had worked, precisely Fidelity Bank in Nigeria. They were doing a regional award ceremony. And in that regional award, I was given an award as the best dressed staff in the entire region. So I was hoping I would be given something very substantial. I was even thinking I would be given money or something very worthwhile. But when I was called, when I walked up to the stage, they wrapped one small book and gave to me. I felt very disappointed. I took the book home. I just looked at it and I dropped it. I didn't open that book for over a year until a year or two later, I saw Professor Pat who told me in my bank branch then, and I ran to him. I told him I wanted to be his friend. I wanted to have a one-on-one connection with him. I wanted him to mentor me. And we started our friendship. So the very first session I had with Professor Pat Utomi, he told me for us to start, I should go and get a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I was shocked. I was amazed. This was the same book that was given to me over a year ago that I refused to read. So I ran back and I picked that book and I read it. And between that time and now, I have read that book over 10 times. And applying those principles has really helped me till this very day. So I want to, in the next 1 hour, try to share some of those principles with all of us, hoping that it will also help us too. So thank you for having me. So before I dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people, there are some concepts we'll be talking about. And the first one will be maturity continuum. That was how Stephen Covey put it. Gina, are you there? So yes. Stephen Covey put it as maturity continuum. And there are different levels of maturity. There are different levels of maturity. And he said the very first level of maturity is called dependence. The first level of maturity is called dependence. Now imagine when you have a newborn baby, a mother just put to bed and the baby is maybe a month old or 2 months old or 3 months old. When the baby needs food, what does she do? When the baby needs food, he begins to cry. When the baby wants to pee, he begins to cry. When the baby wants to move, he begins to cry. Any discomfort the baby feels, what happens? The baby begins to cry because at that level of childhood, the baby is dependent on the mother for everything. There is nothing the baby can do for him or herself. So it is then the lowest level of maturity when you are dependent. When you are dependent on people to help you do everything you want to do. it is the lowest level of maturity. The next level of maturity is independence. I will appreciate if you can give me the full slide on the first page. The next level of maturity is termed independence. You will observe that as this baby begins to grow, it gets to a time when this baby that was crying for the mother to help bathe him, when he's hungry, he will cry for the mother to give him food. It gets to a time, this same baby, when the mother wants to bathe, will not say, I can bathe myself. The mother wants to feed the baby, baby will say, I can feed myself. Now the baby has now grown into the level of independence. The baby cannot do things for himself. So independence is a higher level of the maturity continuum. But the highest level of the maturity continuum is interdependence. So there's a stage in your life where you cannot do anything for yourself. Then you mature from that stage and you get to a stage where you cannot do things for yourself, where you cannot help yourself do little things around. Then the highest level of the maturity continuum says it is interdependence. Interdependence is now a level where you have grown from just being able to do things for yourself. At this level now, you cannot do things with others. You cannot collaborate. Let's move ahead. Dana, go to the next slide. So there are three levels: the dependence level, the independence, and the interdependence. So I said here that the dependence level, I said the dependence level is the hallmark of the dependence level are excuses. When you are, even as an adult, when everything you do, you can find an excuse why you cannot do things for yourself, when you always want somebody to do it for you, you know that you are still at the level of dependence, even as an adult, because that is the lowest level of the maturity continuum. Please go ahead. Then you move from that level, you move to the level where you can now work and do things for yourself. But the highest level is interdependence. Interdependence is now when you cannot work with people, you cannot collaborate with people, you cannot do things with people. I said the highest level of maturity where you cannot achieve the highest and greatest result is interdependence. It is the place where you achieve, when you realize that you can contribute value and get others to contribute values to. You must know that if you don't mature from the level of dependence into independence, it becomes very difficult for you to play at the level of interdependence. You must be able to mature from dependence into independence first. You must be able to do things for yourself, to help yourself, before you can collaborate, before you can be in teamwork with others. So that is dependence, independence, and interdependence. So we'll discuss another concept. There's another concept, just move up. There's another concept we're going to be discussing called emotional bank account. When you meet somebody for the first time, the very first time you meet somebody, you have opened an emotional bank account has been opened between the two of you. Now, when a bank account is open, what happens? It is you are either depositing into the account or you are withdrawing from the account. If you open a bank account, it's either you deposit into the account or you withdraw from the account. So anybody you meet for the first time, an emotional bank account is immediately open. Now, when that account is open for the first time, the account is empty. You can either deposit into the account or you can withdraw. So I give you a scenario. We are in the church and I meet Brother Paul for the first time, sitting very close to me in the church. And after service, I was supposed to be driving to the North Pole. Brother Paul is going south. Now it is raining. Brother Paul does not have a car, but we just met inside the church. Now I met him as I was just driving out. He was walking home. If I choose to give Brother Paul a ride to his house first before driving to my house, what do you think has happened? I have deposited into his emotional bank account. So when you meet people for the first time and you do something for them that wow them, you have deposited in their emotional bank account. Even people that you are friends with already. Now, what if I meet somebody for the first time and maybe I packed into a new estate and I was having some issues and I call on my neighbor, please help take my son to the hospital. He's not feeling fine and I don't have a car. And my neighbor gives me an excuse that I cannot use his car. What has happened? Now, my neighbor had that, the emotional bank account that I have opened with my neighbor when I first packed into that estate. He has withdrawn from it, and I will feel this neighbor is not a good neighbor. I will have it in my mind. But when I said, come and take my son to the hospital, and my neighbor immediately comes and helps me, wow, I will be so wowed. It means my neighbor has deposited into my emotional bank account. So in our everyday life, when you relate with people, you will find out that it's either you are depositing into the emotional bank account or you are withdrawing from it. So when you make promises to people, try and keep them. Be clear and upfront. Be loyal with the absent, versus talking bad about people behind their back. Apologize with sincerity. Be the first. Forgive people. Forgive those that don't offer you an apology and discuss with them. Forgive them sincerely. Based on everyday relationship with people, it's either you are depositing into their emotional bank account or you are withdrawing. The best form of relationship is to always deposit into people's emotional bank account, because that Brother Paul that I have helped to his house, if I call on him tomorrow and say, Brother Paul, I have a business called Imeri, I want you to take a look at it. Brother Paul is more likely to be open to look at the business. Why? Because I have before now deposited into his emotional bank account. So when we establish relationship with people, we must look for ways to ensure that we do things that we project it as if the people are even owing us. People are thinking, what do I do in return for this man, for this woman? So the concept of emotional bank account is a concept that we must hold very dearly to our mind. Please can you go to the next slide? So Stephen Covey says there are 7 habits of highly effective people. It says there are 7 habits of highly effective people. And it says the first habit is that you should be proactive. What does it mean to be proactive? To be proactive means for you to take responsibility for your life. You should be able to take responsibility for your life. Now, there is something called the circle of concern and the circle of influence. The circle of concern are things that you don't have influence over. The circle of concern are things you cannot control, while the circle of influence are things you can control. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the politics that come and go. You cannot control the economy. So when things of such nature happen around you, don't focus your attention on those things. Focus your attention on things you have control over. Focus your attention on things you can control. Put your energy on the things you can control in your life. When you continuously focus on things you cannot control, you become reactive instead of being proactive. You have a role to play in defining how the script of your life runs. It is up to you. If it is to be, it is up to me. You must make that commitment every day, how you want your life to be. You must be proactive. People who are not proactive, they are reactive. They just fold their hand and they just watch. Anything that comes to them, they react. But when you are proactive, you take control. You take charge of your life. You take full responsibility. Proactive people recognize that they are responsible. They don't blame anything. They don't blame their parents. Oh, if only I went to school. Oh, if only I have not grown, I have not been brought up in the village, I would have been a better person. Oh, if only my country don't have bad leaders, I would have become a better person today. To be proactive means you are taking full responsibility of your life. You can't keep blaming everything on the government. You can't keep blaming everything on your parents. You can't keep blaming everything on marriage. Anything that there are people that have had bad circumstances in life, they would have been able to just react and say, if this was what happened to me, that is why my life is like this. I lost somebody, I lost the breadwinner in the home. That is why my life is like this. What if I had not lost my wife? What if I had not lost my husband? My life would have been better. You can choose to be reactive when life hits you. At the same time, you can choose to be proactive. You can decide and say, yes, what has happened has happened. So what next? Where do I go from here? Take responsibility for your life. When you fold your hand and you begin to give excuses here and there on why things are happening to you, you can quickly compare your life to that small baby who cannot take responsibility for his life, who has to cry every time he needs food, who has to cry every time he wants to take a walk, who has to cry every time he wants to poo for the mother to come and help out. So we must be proactive. The first habit of highly effective people is to be proactive. Go to the second one. The second habit, Gina, I hope you have not left me. Can we move to the second habit, please? The second habit of highly effective people is to begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. I want to believe that a lot of us, we have built houses. We have personal houses. And I also want to believe that as at the time we built those houses, maybe we traveled abroad and we saw a building that looked so fine. Then we took a picture of the building and we brought the picture to Nigeria or to Ghana, anywhere you are from. When you want to build that house, you are going to call a builder or an architect, and you will tell the architect the design of the house that you want. You will tell the man, this is how I want the house to be. These are the features I want inside of this house. The man will sit down with you and will design the house on paper from beginning to the end. It is after the house has been fully designed from beginning to the end on paper, it is only then that you will now move to the physical site. I want to believe that that is how a house is built. What if we go the other way around and we say you want to build a house and you just move to site? You just tell the boys to clear the site and just dig the foundation and just begin to lay the blocks. As you are laying the blocks, you are looking at the blocks. You say, okay, I think add more. Okay, stop there. And as you're laying the block, you stop them again. You say, oh, you think, no, I think this one should not be here. Break it down. Okay, add it this way. If you build a house like that, it will cost you more to build. The house might not even be firm. The house may even collapse. That is why before you build a house, the house is first built on paper from beginning to the end. That is what we mean by beginning with the end in mind. Everything is created twice. The airplane that is flying in the air today, some people sat down and they conceived it and they built it in their mind first. They built it, they finished the airplane in their mind. They conceived the idea before they took it physical. Now, don't just live your life by default. You wake up in the morning and you say, whatever the day brings is a very wrong way to live your life. You must define how you want. You must be able to design your life how you want it to be. You must be able. I remember that time that we were all having Nokia 3310. The Nokia used to have a particular ringing tone. So if you are having a Nokia 3310 and it rings, everybody will know that that is Nokia 3310 that was ringing. That was because you bought the phone and you left the ringing tone that came with the phone. You decided to leave the phone that came by default. But some other persons, they bought that same phone and they removed that default ringing tone and they put a very lovely ringing tone such that when the phone is ringing, when you hear the ringing tone, you will not even know that that is Nokia 3310 that is ringing. We should not live our life by default. We should always plan and say, I want to start this project. By the end of 6 months, this is where I want to be. By the end of 1 year, this is where I want to be. Let me tell you, anything that is measured gets done. If you don't measure it, if you don't measure your progress, it is extremely very difficult for you to get the work done. The first day I sat down listening to the Emery business plan, as Ms. Queen Komoda was breaking down the plan, I was projecting the next 6 months. I was projecting the next 1 year, the next 2 years. And I was asking myself, if I follow this plan diligently, where will I be in the next 6 months? Where will I be in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? If you don't project like that and see that far, it becomes extremely difficult for you to be able to walk towards it. Let me tell you what it means to be clueless. To be clueless is a very dangerous thing. To be clueless is when you wake up and you cannot even picture the next day. You can't picture the next 2 days. You can't picture the next minute. You are just concerned of whatever will be, will be. It's a very wrong way to live your life. Beginning with the end in mind is based on imagination, the ability to envision in your mind what you cannot at present see with your eyes. The first day I saw the Emery business plan, when I joined, I was still an associate. But from that day, I had already begun to picture myself as a director. But I wasn't there yet, but I was already seeing it. I envisioned it with my mind's eye. That is how it should be. It is based on the principle that all things are created twice. In my mind, I was already a director. In my mind. So what was left was for me to walk towards it. There is a mental first creation and physical second creation. The physical creation follows the mental, just as a building follows a blueprint. This is a very important habit, beginning with the end in mind. Let us always try to begin with the end in mind in everything that we do. The third habit says, first thing first. First thing first is about life management. You wake up in the morning. What do you do? What determines the urgent things in your life? What determines the things that are not urgent in your life? See, some things are important and they are urgent. Some things are important, but they are not urgent. Some things are not important and they are also not urgent. Some things are not important, but they are urgent. Some things are not important and they are also not urgent. When we wake up every day, all these 4 categories of things, they stare at our faces. How do you spend your 24 hours every day? It is the same 24 hours that you have every day. The poorest of men in the world today, the same 24 hours that they have is the same 24 hours that the richest of men they have. The difference is how they spend it. How you spend your 24 hours every day will determine to a large extent how your life will turn out. That is why Somebody once said that if all the wealth of this world goes away, if everybody have to start from the scratch again, 80% of the richest men in the world today, in another 1 year, they will still become the richest. 80% of the poorest of men today, in another 1-2 years, they will still become the poorest. It's a function of how you spend your time. Habit 3 is about life management. Your purpose, values, roles, and priorities. Mark that word, priorities. First things are those things you personally find of most worth. If you put first things first, you are organizing and managing time and events according to the personal priorities you establish in habits 2. Now, there are 4 things that stare at you every day when you wake up. And I've said that some are important and are urgent. You know those things. Yours might be different from mine. Now, when you wake up every morning, always draw this quadrant and ask yourself, what are the things that are important and urgent to me today? When you have listed them, what do? Those are the things you do immediately. Those are the things that should come first in the quadrant. What are those things that are important to me and they are also urgent? When you have listed them, do them. Then ask yourself, what are those things that are important to me but not urgent? When you have been able to list them, what do? You plan. They are important but they are not urgent. What do you do with them? You plan them. What are those things that are not important but they are urgent? They are not important but they are urgent. What do? You delegate them. Always learn to delegate. Always learn to delegate. It saves man-hour time. Somebody said, anything that will cost you less than, is it $5 or what? Don't do it with your time. Give it to somebody to do and pay for it. Why will I want to spend? Anyway, everybody have their own list and know what is not important and urgent. But when you have been able to put it in your list to say this is not important but urgent, delegate it. Then also look at things that are not important. They are not important and they are not urgent. They are not important and they are not urgent. What do? You eliminate them. You eliminate them. But what do? A lot of people focus here the most. It is wrong. You eliminate, you delete. Thank you very much. Delete them. You eliminate, remove them from your system entirely. So first thing first is the 3rd habit. Can we please go to the 4th habit? The 4th habit of highly effective. It's looking so faint. It's looking so faint. I cannot see anything. I don't know if it's from my end. The 4th habit of highly effective people is think win-win. Think win-win. It is the highest level of human interaction when you think win-win. You must be able to think win-win. There is a win-win relationship. There is a win-loss. There is a loss-win. There is a loss-loss. Imagine a young girl who is dating a young boy. They are still in school. They are dating. They said they are in love. And the girl says, I am a virgin, but I'm in love with you. Let us be boyfriend and girlfriend. But there will be no sexual relationship. And the boy agrees. Now, a few months into the relationship, the boy begins to tell the young girl, you know, please, I want to go to that way that we have agreed not to go to. I want to have carnal knowledge of you. I want to have sex with you. If the girl agrees to the boy and the boy goes ahead to have sexual intercourse with this, the girl goes ahead to have sexual intercourse with this girl, and perhaps the girl gets pregnant and is driven away from school, but the boy remains in the school, finishes his SS3 and goes further into the university. What has happened in that relationship? We can say that somebody has lost out while somebody has won. Somebody has lost out while somebody else has won. So it's a win-lose relationship. In our relationship with people, in our dealings with people, it must always be win-win. It is a better way to relate with people. There's even a lose-lose. Have you seen a situation whereby somebody is trying to drive his car somewhere and somebody hits him, and the guy that hits him refuses to say, I'm sorry. He comes out and begins to prove that he was the one that was right. And the man says, you hit my car and you cannot tell me sorry. You are even proving that you are right. The man enters his car, pushes back, and hits the car that hits him harder, destroying the headlight. And the man says, oh, do you think I have only one car? And he goes back, reverses, and hits this man again. In the process, they end up destroying the two cars. It's a lose-lose relationship. It's a lose-lose arrangement. Some people are like that. If I cannot win, let everybody lose. No. When I was new in network marketing, if any of my friends that says, John, I don't have money, I am broke, I lost my job, I quickly want to sign the person into the business and say, come and do network marketing, come and take money, sign, oh yeah, come on. That even if the person says, I don't have money to join this business, I can even go and bring money and say, come and join. The person does not know anything about network marketing, but you just want to force the person into the business because he has come to say, I have lost my job, I don't have money. But I grew to a level where I realized that not all your friends, before you become a network marketer, you have friends from different walks of life. Not all of them will be network marketers with you. So now, the other day, a friend of mine said he lost his job. He doesn't have money, but he has a car that he was using to do transportation. And I said, okay, But he said the car has issues now. And I said, okay, what will it cost you to fix the car? And he told me, and I said, okay, take the money, go and fix the car. And he fixed the car. Now he's still doing his own transportation. But he says he cannot do network marketing. And we are still friends. He's happy now, I'm happy. But there was a time I didn't have this knowledge. I will tell him that he must do network marketing. And I will probably force him to go and bring money and register. And because it's not his thing, he's not meeting up, he's not winning, he's not doing it well, he feels now that, oh, I am the only one winning, he's losing. And it begins to strain the relationship. So in any relationship you have with people, let it be such that the person has to win. You have to win while I am winning also. That is why I have gotten to a stage in this industry where before now, if I sign you up, I am so excited. Oh, I'm so excited, I've signed up somebody. But the level I am in this industry now, signing you up does not excite me. What excites me is, what do you do when you come in? What you do when you come in is what even excites me the most. So because I believe that when you are winning and I am winning, when we have a win-win relationship in whatever we are doing, everybody is happier for it. So always try to establish win-win relationship in everything that you do. Can we please go to habit 5? Habit 5, please. Habit 5. Habit 5 says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, when people talk to us, when somebody is talking to you, let's say somebody is laying a complaint to you. Some of us, how do we listen? How you listen is very important. How do you listen? Some of us will listen to respond. We listen to people just to respond. But there's something called empathic listening. Empathic listening. When you try to understand the other person's point of view, when you try to put yourself in the position of the other person, once you are able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, the way you respond will be different. If I show you this phone, if I show you my phone, and I say, what is the color of my phone? What will you say? You will say, my phone is white. If I say, what is the color of my phone? You will say, my phone is black. It's just one phone. So people will be arguing it is black. Some will argue it is white. Now, what can solve this simple scenario? If you get up from where you are sitting and you sit where I am sitting, you will see that the side facing me is white. If I get up from where I am sitting and I sit down where you are sitting, I will see that the side facing you is black. If we are able to see from the other person's point of view in everything we do, a lot of the issues we have with people will be seriously minimized. I remember as a banker, you know, there's this law that when your ATM card gets stuck in the machine, they don't give it back to you, but if the bank feels that is already compromised. So I had this issue, an angry customer who went to withdraw money. His card was stuck in the machine, and he came and said he wants his card back. And my customer service officer said, we cannot give you the card back, it's already compromised. You have to apply for a new one. And the guy went mad. He went very mad. He was almost pulling down the entire banking hall. And they brought it to the manager's office. And I said, what is the problem? And he said, his ATM card got stuck in the machine. And he just came in to say he wanted his ATM so that he can go back there and withdraw his money. And they are telling him that they can't give him his ATM, his card back. Now I told him to sit down. Immediately, now it's not a matter of being perfect now. I've read this book by that time. I've read this book and I've known about this particular habit 5. Now immediately I put myself in his shoes, and I felt I was the one sitting where he was sitting, and I'm imagining myself going to a bank's ATM to withdraw money. The ATM card gets stuck, and I don't even have transport to leave that place. Now I felt empathy. I began to empathize with him. It is only when you put yourself on the guy's shoe that you can feel that empathy, empathic listening. Now, I did not solve the problem. I did not give back the card to him. But I listened to him in such a way, he knew I felt his pain. He knew it, he saw it. I was able to explain to him and to solve his issue in another way without necessarily giving back the card to him. So, when they seek first to understand than then to be understood. But we go the other way most times. Somebody is communicating with you. You want the person to understand you. You want the person to understand your point of view. But when you first of all hold your point of view and you wait to understand that person, it is most likely to end up well and better. Empathy is the ability to project oneself into the personality of another person in order to better understand that person's emotions or feelings. Through empathic listening, the listener lets the speaker know, I understand your problem and how you feel about it. I am interested in what you are saying, and I am not judging you. The intention is not to necessarily agree with the person, but to let the person know that I feel your pain, to be compassionate. These are things, when we try to do them every day, will make our life and life around people around us, make our life better. Please, come to habit number 6. Gina, I hope you have not left me. Habit 6 says synergy. Synergy. Synergy means we say that our emerging plant is a synergistic bond. It is from this word, synergy. Your ability to work together, teamwork. You must be able to listen to something. you must be able to win the war in yourself. You must be able to help yourself. You must become independent. You must be able to help yourself. You must be able to be happy with yourself. You must be able to love yourself. A better word. I will try to look for a word to you. You must be able to love yourself. Be happy with yourself. Be independent. It will help you to be able to synergize with others. Because when you love yourself, when you are happy with yourself, when you are proud of yourself, you won't fall into the habit of always thinking that people are judging you, people are after you, people don't like you, people are critical of you. So you must be independent of yourself first for you to be able to play in the highest level of maturity, which is interdependence. Synergy, teamwork. To synergize is the habit of creative cooperation. It is teamwork, open-mindedness, and the adventure of finding new solutions to old problems. It's a process. You must try to be able to work with people. And one of the easiest ways that you can achieve this is this. Try to love people. Try to care or be concerned about people genuinely. Genuinely. Try to always watch out for the good traits about people. And when you are able to see them, try to highlight them. You can either look for the good traits about people and highlight them, or you can either choose to look for the bad traits about people and push it to their faces. When you continuously do that, you repel people away from you. But when you are genuinely interested in people and you look for the good things about them and you highlight those good things to their faces, it draws people close to you. That's why I say, if you are in a network marketing business and you cannot introduce two persons to come and join you in the business, quickly go and check your relationship with people. You quickly know that that is an area you have to work on. You have to work on your relationship with people. Nobody is perfect, we know. So try to always look for the good side of people and highlight, because if you look for the bad side, you will see, but nobody is perfect. But when you highlight the good side of people, people are drawn nearer to you. Our time is running out. Let's go to the seventh habit. The seventh habit of highly effective people. The seventh habit of highly effective people. He said, sharpen the SAW. Now, Stephen Covey gives a scenario of two persons. The two persons, they were trying to cut down a tree. Now, the first person, the saw he was using was not sharp enough. And he was told to sharpen the saw. What did he say? He said, If he chooses to sharpen this saw now, it will take him 1 hour to sharpen the saw. So he will rather not want to spend that 1 hour sharpening the saw. He will want to continue cutting. Now he ends up cutting the tree for 7 hours because he did not sharpen his own saw. The second person decided to take out that 1 hour to sharpen his own saw. And when he did, what happened? He cut that same tree in 3 hours. That is how it is with our lives. This life we have is just one life. And our output, to a great extent, depends on how sharp our saw is. Our output, to a large extent, depends on how sharp our saw is. So instead of saying you don't want to take out that 1 hour, it is better for you to take out that 1 hour to sharpen your saw so that you can complete the task in 3 hours instead of waiting, instead of refusing to sharpen the saw and now taking 7 hours to complete the task. So as we move around in our life, we are told to sharpen the saw in every area of our life. Physical saw. The physical saw of our life is our body, our physical body. You should sharpen the saw by constantly embarking on physical exercises to keep the body fit. Eat healthy food. Social, emotional. Try to create very good relationship with people. The spiritual saw that you need to sharp. You need to meditate, you need to read, you need to pray, meditate, think, take time out to evaluate, to pray, and to evaluate your life. You need to sharpen your mind by doing what? By reading books. When you always take out time to sharpen the saw, it takes your productivity higher. That is why, even in the corporate world, there are some people that will say they want to work from January to December, but the company will say, go on vacation. Go on vacation. Because they expect you to go on vacation to relax your physical body, your mental body, to recreate yourself so that when you come back, you are at your best. But the beauty of network marketing is that you don't even need any boss to give you approval to go on vacation. We have vacation every now and then. We are free to do whatever we want to do because we have freedom. So every now and then, take out time to always sharpen your saw. Because when you sharpen your saw, your input is always higher. So I want to encourage all of you that as you have heard this presentation today, I want to encourage you to go and pick up this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and go through it, not just going through it. Keep it very close to you and flip through it every now and then. And if you practice the principles that are laid down here, over time it will help you in your relationship with people, in your marriage life, in your business life, in all spheres of life. Because if you abide by these principles, they are last longing. They will help you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.